City of Stevens Point Finance Committee meeting, recorded February 10, 2025.
All right, it's 6:03. We'll call a meeting of the Finance Committee to order. Marcy, could you take roll, please?
Christensen?
Here.
Morrow? Shuda?
Here.
Keemer? Here. Broderick? Here.
Morrow's here.
Okay.
All right. First, we just have a few items on the agenda. Number 2 is approval of the agreement to lease a portion of the building at 1466 Water Street to One Big Tent Incorporated.
Yes, I believe this is Director Kivila. Take this one.
Okay.
Thank you. So we were approached by One Big Tent. They are looking for a home, temporary home, as they look for a more permanent location. They had approached us with interest of leasing a portion of 1466 Water Street, which is a building the city currently owns and does have slated for further development or redevelopment. So there's a current tenant in that building, Children's Wisconsin. Their lease goes till 2027. So as part of this discussion, they had asked if they would be able to enter into a 9-month lease agreement with a possible 3-month additional extension while they find their new home. So worked out some fairly generous terms with them for them to pay the same fee that they were paying Create Portage County in the current space, with the assurance that they would fix everything that needs to be fixed within their space. So a good deal to get them a temporary home. So looking for approval of the lease. There still are a few items to iron out within that lease, but we wanted to include generally what it was going to look like.
Okay. Any questions for the director? Committee, what are your wishes? Their motion?
So move.
Motion by Shuda, second?
Second.
Second by Morrow. Discussion.
I guess I have a quick question.
Sure.
Is there any, I realize this is a city building, but is there any sense of how long the vacant portion had been vacant, roughly?
More than 10 years.
More than 10 years.
Jared
okay.
might have a better idea specifically,
Okay.
but it's been more than 10 years.
Okay.
It's been a while.
If you look on page 15 of your packet, you'll see
The diagram.
Children's Wisconsin has been the primary occupant of that building for quite some time. The other space has really been sitting vacant for at least 10 years.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just have a comment. I think this would be a great use for it. I think this would help the homeless population that we have. I know Big Tent does a lot of things now, and I think this would put them in a position to be able to help a lot more.
Okay. Any comments from the public?
Hi, I'm Jane Johnson, resident of Stevens Point and vice president of One Big Tent. In many ways, the city and One Big Tent has collaborated as much as we already can, right? We're all striving to find answers for the low and no income folks in our community, those who are unhoused, and so this would just be a great opportunity for us to continue to work together, because when the county, when the city, when nonprofits, when churches, when residents all work together, we can do pretty much anything that we put our mind to.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment, maybe I could, for the speaker. Mother Jane, since we have the soapbox, can you talk a little bit about, no, seriously, most people don't know all of the good things and the good people that are doing things in our community. Can you tell us a little bit about what One Big Tent does?
Yeah, so One Big Tent is several churches that got together in 2020 during the pandemic and said, you know, we always have neighbors come to churches and need help, and so we said, hey, why don't we work together, which is an unusual thought for churches to begin with. And then we said we need to know the community partners. And so we really think of ourselves as connective tissue. So it's a place where anybody can come in. It's built on relationships and not transactions. So we try to listen to their story, to try to identify with them where the gaps are that are getting in their way to sustainability and wholeness and wellness. Once we've identified those gaps, we try to connect them to community resources, because there's a ton of good community resources in Stevens Point. And if those resources don't work out, then the churches we're purely volunteers and we live off donations. So then we try to use our resources to help our neighbors. And like we've started a branch ministry, Laundry Love, where people can come twice a week and they can come and get their laundry clean for free. They come in, we help them with quarters and with laundry soap, and we're working with a local laundromat. And, with the idea that we're also, with that connective tissue, trying to help all of these agencies work together, because collaboration is the name of the game.
Awesome. Thank you guys for what you do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'll add a few more words if I can.
Okay, absolutely.
She's the treasurer.
Yeah, I'm Judy Cumley. I'm the treasurer, so I'm going to give you some numbers because that's what I do. So the month of January, we provided services to 97 of our neighbors. That was individuals or families or couples. We don't distinguish. That's just the way our data works. Of those 97 neighbors, we provided rent assistance to 14 of them. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but you think that that's 14 families that did not get evicted, that continue to have stable housing, that can now put their resources to other things. The cost of that was $6,250. We also provided grocery cards to families with children. We give fuel-only gift cards from Quick Trip. We support Quick Trip because they're the only ones that give us fuel only, so that when our neighbors come, that's all they can do is get gas. And those amounts are usually $10 to $15. Our intent is not to fill up their tank. Our intent is to help them through that real rough spot, get them off of empty, maybe get them to a job, get them to doctor's appointments, et cetera, et cetera. We also provide Goodwill cards to our folks that need. A lot of times they come to us looking for work clothes or for, just even something that fits them. And we paid, and this is our miscellaneous column, which is always interesting. We paid for different things for 5 of our neighbors that came to $1,000, but it wasn't within our normal scope. So one was a gentleman whose family all lived in Georgia. He had no way of getting there. And so we worked with him and talked to him and tried to figure out different options. We ended up buying him a Greyhound bus ticket to get him to Georgia so he could be with his family where he gets the support. We had a couple of our neighbors that came to us like 2 weeks in a row that were so excited they got new jobs in a factory that required steel-toe boots. Bootstrap, we tried. Bootstrap didn't have any that fit them. And they could not they could not take that job. So we bought 2 pair of steel-toed boots for both of them. We've done those kinds of different things that sometimes other agencies or organizations aren't able to do. And as Pastor Jane said, a lot of it is relationships, and then they come back, and a lot of them will check in with us and just let us know how things are going. So we appreciate the opportunity to be able to move across the street.
Thanks. Identify yourself, please.
Can I use an alias? Mary Kneebone, District 7, Alder, 5718 Sandpiper Drive. I don't have much to add to what these 2 illustrious folks have said, other than they know us by how we treat the least of us. This is a great way for the city to partner to reach a lot of people that just need a hand up. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Anyone else? Anything for the committee to add? If not, all in favor of approving that agreement to lease the portion of the building to One Big Tent would signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed would be no. That passes. Item number 3 on our agenda, approval of setting lot prices for the Forest Creek Subdivision. Director.
Thank you again. So as you may or may not be aware, the city has created a subdivision on the east side, Forest Creek Subdivision. So right up to the end of the year, WPS was putting in all of their items, boxes, electrical, all of the infrastructure is completed. There's one minor snafu, but all should be taken care of and good. So we are at the point of now looking to sell the lots. And with that, we do need to set the prices. So staff did work with Treasury Office here, and looked at what the break-even price per square foot would be. We worked with our assessors at what the current assessment value of each vacant lot would be. We did look at comparable sales throughout the city. And then we also did work with a local real estate firm just to kind of check on what they would price the lots at. So thankful for their assistance. So with all of that, we did create the general pricing for each lot, which can be seen on the map, which should be the page just after the memo.
19.
And then the plat is right after that. So we have set the lot prices at what we feel would be fair and saleable prices. We are looking for approval of those prices with the ability to remain flexible, depending on the market variability, just any other conditions or buyer circumstances that may arise, just so we don't have to come back and delay the process. So seeking approval with that flexibility.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Alder Morrow.
I'll second.
Second by Alder Broderick. Comments, questions by the committee?
One of the comments I have, one thing that's really nice about this is that the range of prices they have for lots for folks who don't have as much money. So it truly is a mixed use, not mixed use, but more like a mixed price, so that mixed range, so that folks could, of all income levels, could really afford a new house, because the lots go from a 65 to 70 to 25 to 22,000. So folks would be able to find would be able to find their own range, that they would be able to have their own piece of the rock and so on.
Agreed. Any other comments, questions? If not, a motion to approve would be in order.
Motion. We have a motion.
Oh, question.
We have a motion.
You already have the
Well, no,
motion and
okay.
a second.
In fact, then all those that would be in favor of approving the sale prices as proposed for the Forest Creek, with staff having the ability to adjust those slightly if certain circumstances come up. Those that would be approving that would signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed would be no. And so that is approved unanimously. That brings us to our final action item, which will be approval of claims. Comptroller Treasurer, are there any specific ones that you'd like to highlight?
Sure. So you'll notice there's some large claims for the January tax settlement. So basically, we collect taxes for all of the different jurisdictions, the school board, the county, and the tech college, and then we forward their monies on to them after they're collected. So you'll notice those. Also, with it being a new year, we also made some large insurance payments for our liability insurance and work comp insurance and so forth. And then other than that, you have your usual large capital expenses that just never seem to end. So.
True. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Keemer, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Morrow. Any other questions? If not, All those in favor of approving the claims paid would signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed would be no. That passes unanimously. Our agenda is exhausted. We stand adjourned at 6:18.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.